Alex Pereira left the kickboxing world after becoming a two-division champion in Glory to pursue a different challenge, and he makes his highly anticipated UFC debut at UFC 268 at Madison Square Garden on November 6th. Glover Teixeira, the UFC light heavyweight contender and a longtime training partner of Pereira, sees championship potential in his teammate, who holds a couple of kickboxing wins over UFC middleweight king Israel Adesanya, including a vicious knockout. Speaking on the latest episode of MMA Fighting, Teixeira said he believes Israel is scared of Pereira's arrival at the 185-pound weight class. Daddy's in the UFC. Adesanya doesn't want to talk about it. This guy's just getting here, but he knows it's a tough one for him. No one gives Adesanya more trouble at 185 than him. I'm not saying he's going to win. It's another fight, another time, another style, but Adesanya must be praying. For the love of God, put someone like Phil Davis for this guy. Pereira's most recent MMA fight took place under the LFA banner in November 2020, ending in a scary first-round knockout over Thomas Powell. Teixeira, who's used to sparring and trading hands with Pereira on a daily basis, dares anyone to take a punch from him with those little gloves. He hits your right rib, and the left rib hurts. Adesanya is no match for him. First of all, he'll be coming in shit scared. Pereira knocked him out with 10-ounce gloves, with 4-ounce gloves on his hand now, and Adesanya doesn't have the knockout power Poatan has. He's fucking good, don't get me wrong, Adesanya is awesome, but he doesn't hit like him. Adesanya hits like a normal guy. Poatan is not normal. Adesanya has no ground game, at least based on what I saw in his last fight. Adesanya has no ground in wrestling to take Poatan down. In fact, I think Poatan is better than him. I won't tell you he's one of the best, like a Jacare on the ground, but he defends well on the ground. He has good defensive wrestling, and in the way he moves on his feet, makes it tougher to close the distance. I have good takedowns, but it's hard to get to him. I expect him to do well in the UFC. Triller's Ryan Kavanaugh has confirmed that they are in talks to rebook Oscar De La Hoya versus Vitor Belfort for Thanksgiving weekend. De La Hoya was initially supposed to take on Belfort earlier this month instead of Evander Holyfield, but was forced to pull out of the contest after coming down with a serious case of COVID-19. Belfort went on to demolish Holyfield inside the first round in what many called a sideshow fight that should have never taken place. If it goes down on Thanksgiving weekend as Kavanaugh intends, the date will likely be November 27th, and it'll probably head back to the West Coast in California, provided they're still happy to sanction it. The fight will have the title of The Revenge, as De La Hoya attempts to avenge fellow pro boxing legend Evander Holyfield. On a recent episode of the Believe You Me podcast, Michael Bisping spoke about Sean O'Malley not wanting to fight bantamweights that are ranked in the top 10. He had the following to say. He's saying that he wants more money before he takes on guys like that. We've had this conversation before, so we won't get into it, but he's the only guy I can think of that has said something like that. And again, I get what he's doing. He's trying to be strategic. He's trying to make more money and all the rest of it, trying to renegotiate his contract to get big money. But he's the only guy that's calling out lesser ranked fighters. Everyone else is like, give me a top 10. Give me a top 5. Give me a champion. I want a title shot. He's the only guy in the history of the UFC that wants the lowest ranked guy possible. You know what I mean? He's speaking his mind, I guess, but it's not really what you want to hear a fighter say. But God bless him. Again, he's not ducking people. I agree, that's not what he's doing. It's not that he doesn't feel that he's good enough. He just feels that he should be paid more to take on those type of guys. I don't know what his contract is, but business talks like that shouldn't be public in my opinion. You should keep that between yourself, your manager, and the UFC. But still, who am I to judge? Brian Kelleher suggests that he is Sean O'Malley's next opponent. O'Malley vs. Kelleher might just make its way to fight fans before the year's end. Kelleher called out O'Malley following his victory at UFC Vegas 34 last month. Now Kelleher is teasing that both sides have agreed to the 135-pound scrap. She said yes, Kelleher tweeted on Monday morning alongside a wedding ring emoji and photos of him and O'Malley. O'Malley recently circled December 11th for his Octagon return. That date would coincide with UFC 269, which is expected to boast UFC Women's Bantamweight Champion Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, plus a Flyweight Trilogy title fight between Brandon Moreno and Davison Figueiredo.